Alright guys, today I'm going to be walking you through the Division's new 8v8 PvP game mode, Last Stand. The mode features hybrid PvE elements, Dominion-style capture points, and a spread of Dark Zone maps that finally give the more competitive-minded Division agents a place to square off against each other. Stick around if you want to know what to expect and the ins and outs of how the mode works. The Last Stand game mode features 5 different sections of the DZ as its maps, each one with 3 different capture points, and each capture point with 3 different nodes. For points to be gathered, all 3 nodes at any given capture point must be controlled. Points can be defended by turret installations, which require Shade Tech, the mode's unique currency, to buy. Shade Tech can be found in crates and boxes or farmed from roaming NPCs spread across the map. Shade Tech is a shared currency that your entire team can access at any one time. You all have one direct pool of it. It also costs 250 to build a turret or a pulse station at one of your controlled points, and 2,000 for one of the tactical boosts that become available later in the game. Turrets deal a decent amount of damage and will offer up some defense against attacking agents, though at this point they are relatively easy to destroy. One thing to note is that aiming for the turret itself and not the armored box below will result in a much higher damage strike, similar to a critical hit or a headshot on players. Each match lasts 20 minutes or until a 15,000 score mark is reached by either team. After 7 minutes, at the 13-minute mark, a set of tactical boosts become available. Double points, which is the cup, and points per kill, which is the skull. These can be purchased for 2,000 Shade Tech and play a major role in the outcome of most games. It is very important for any competitive team to keep an eye on these bonuses if they care at all about achieving victory. Keep in mind that this is an objective-based mode. Focusing solely on PvP, while valuable in some circumstances, is not the most efficient strategy and will result in more losses than wins. Employ strategies such as backcapping, sneaking past the main fight, which typically takes place at Objective B in the center of the map, and capturing all or at least some of the individual nodes at the opposite control point. It is important to note that all 3 nodes must be controlled to gain points, so even disrupting just one of them will strip the enemy team of their point gain for a period of time until it is recaptured. After 12 minutes of gameplay, at the 8-minute mark, Buddy Spawn becomes available. This allows dead agents to spawn in near the location of their allies, dramatically increasing the pace of the match and resulting in a more frenzied, PvP-filled finale to most games. Keep in mind that angrily mashing the buttons and spawning in directly on top of an already overwhelmed ally will just waste time and hurt your team overall. There is a lot of strategy involved with this mode, and everyone should be prepared with multiple builds before really setting out to compete. Having support players, shield tanks, snipers, and many types of roles will be a critical component to high win-loss ratio teams. All roles will have a tremendous amount of value and are highly encouraged, as one-dimensional players will drag teams down with their inability to adapt. In the end, it's important to keep an eye on timers, be conscious of where you spawn, make decisive moves to disrupt enemy points, and communicate with your team to secure wins. Overall, I really love this game mode. It's a lot shorter than your typical survival match. It doesn't take an hour and a half to get to the point where you're having a lot of fun. You can jump in for 20 minutes at a time, have some vibrant PvP, come out of it with some rewards, some gear, and feel fulfilled. And I think that it also does a lot of good in the community to ease some of this tension between PvE and PvP players. It pulls a lot of the people like myself that are dedicated to PvP, very competitive, want to fight other agents at every turn. It pulls them out of the Dark Zone, puts them in their own dedicated space where they can earn rewards, they can earn cosmetic gear. That's another thing about the mode. You can actually earn weapon skins and various vanity items just from advancing your character all the way up through to level 40. That's something I forgot to mention, but level 40 is the cap on Last Stand. The same way that you advance to level 40 in the Underground, you will advance to level 40 in Last Stand. It pulls all those dedicated PvP competitive players and puts them in here where they can get their enjoyment. So it has a lot of value to the game as a whole. Dropping the script for a little bit, it's something that I find to be extremely fun, and I'm very excited about when it hits the live game. I'll be streaming this non-stop, and I know a lot of my friends as well are going to come back to the game and be reinvigorated for the game when this finally drops. So it has a lot of value in that regard. And there's a lot of other different reasons why it's actually appealing to all players. You have a hybrid PvE aspect to it where you can collect the Shade Tech, and that's valuable for giving your team the extra spawns, the extra bonuses, the extra points, and the multipliers, because if you don't have those, you can oftentimes lose directly because of it. If you can't get enough points because the enemy team secured double points 3 times in a row, regardless of how many players you kill, regardless of how well you do personally, for your own vanity score, you will still lose the match. So it's a very important thing to have a lot of different players with a lot of different mentalities on any one team. There are 8 agents, and they all need to do 8 different things in order to secure a victory in a reliable way. And I think that cooperation is something that's been lacking in the division up till now. We were always encouraged to fight each other in the dark zone. We were always encouraged to stab each other in the back. And now we're encouraged to cooperate in larger groups, more than 4, in up to 8, groups of 8 players against other groups of players. And I think that's really healthy. I think that's amazing. And it's something that I am tremendously excited about. I love the game mode. I want to give a huge shout out and props to both Red Storm and Massive for this game mode, because this is something that the division not only needed, but will help it excel to the place where it always should have been. The level that this game deserves to be at, because the bones and the core of this game, I've said this since the beginning, are solid, are very, very good. They're strong. The foundation is there. And now they're building on top of that foundation floor by floor, with Survival and 1.4 being floor 1 and Last Stand being floor 2. And I think that there's a lot of potential. They're going in the right direction. There are some changes that might need to be tweaked just a little bit. Some settings obviously are going to be changed a little bit from the PTS to the live game, but overall it's a phenomenal mode. It's a lot of fun, and I would encourage everyone out there to use basic strategy, to take what you've learned from this video and many others, apply it to the game, and go have some fun in Last Stand. As always, guys, check out the links below if you want to support the channel. Find us on Twitch, Facebook, and Discord especially, and have a nice night.